Buying a Tesla in 2025, hey, it's a tricky process. And the reason I say that is because with everything going on, I want to talk to you guys about, is it something you should do? And if you decide you want to do that, whether you should buy used or brand new. Now, I know I've made this video kind of before, but a lot of times I feel like I leave out a couple things, and not on purpose, but just because I don't think of it as I'm filming, because I just shoot raw and I don't have notes or anything that I'm writing down when I'm shooting this content. So I just want to go over a couple things and clarify some stuff for people that might be looking at getting a Tesla, and just getting you into maybe some other things you might be able to do with that money instead of buying a Tesla. All right. But before we get too deep on into the video, we've already got monetized. So once again, I do want to appreciate all of you guys for watching my content and just staying up to date with me. Like I said, I appreciate all of you. And we are on, man, I cannot talk today. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. So help a brother out. Subscribe up if you're new. We make content about how to make money, Teslas, cars. We're just pretty much a car channel, right? A car channel, AKA a channel to learn about finance and how to make money using your vehicle, because most people have cars and you're probably not making any money with your car. So why not change that, turn that asset into a liability, all right? But enough talking about that. So let's jump straight on into it. Should you buy a Tesla in 2025? Now, my thing is this. With Elon being the CEO right now, it's making it very tough. And I don't mean it tough by buying the car. I mean it tough by, depending on where you live, you might live in a state where, I don't want to say like Democrats, because there could be people that are on the Republican side that are doing these things as well. But, you know, there's an issue going on with people vandalizing cars. I know you guys have probably seen this before, but it has just gotten worse. And, you know, I don't know how or when it would get better. Personally, I think it can get better if Elon just decides to step down, because, you know, he's not making it any better. All right. Now, at first I was like, hey, maybe he can apologize and say some things to make people just understand where he was coming from, or understand that he made a mistake. But it looks like he's standing on what he did. And, you know, it is what it is. Personally, I don't know how I feel about Elon, to be honest. It's not like I'm on the F Elon train, but I'm also not on the, oh, Elon's the best train either, right? Because at the end of the day, man, dude, he is affecting people in a way. And I don't know too much about the DEI stuff. Maybe you guys can inform me so that way I understand exactly how he is hurting people. But from what I'm seeing and what I'm reading and the little stuff that I do read about it, he is hurting people involved with DEI. I don't know anything about that, so I apologize. But, you know, he's hurting people when it comes to that, money-wise, job-wise, etc. He's also hurting people, you know, by doing that famous thing that he did. We all know what he did. So, and I don't know if that's like a, like if people are still, no. People are just very upset. People are very upset about that. And I can understand, because I look at it two ways, right? And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, well, because you own a Tesla, of course you're going to agree with everything he did. But let's put this out there, okay? I'm not saying that he didn't do something stupid, and he definitely should get punished for it, and not in a bad way, but in a way where, you know, he learns from his mistakes. But let's just say, genuinely, right? We've all done something where we're not trying to offend people, but people take it offensive. So, for example, I could understand him saying, hey, my heart goes out to you, hitting his chest, and then just saying, all of y'all, right? Me personally, like, I probably, if I said my heart goes out to you and I had, like, I wanted to do a gesture with it, and I'm just assuming, because no one knows what they would do in that situation. You know, I might do like a pound to the chest and then like give out a point like this. My heart goes out to you, right? You know, but maybe he genuinely wasn't trying to do that, right? But to be honest, it's kind of hard to believe that that wasn't his intentions, just because I guess how strong of a smack to the chest and then the hand out gesture it was. And it's just hard to believe that that's not what his intentions was. But I can definitely understand or see it from another aspect where he genuinely was just saying, hey, my heart goes out to you guys, right? But hey, like I said, I'm not on the I love Elon Trump, I'm not on or train, I'm not on the I hate Elon train, but I will say I'm probably more on the side of where that was a horrible gesture. I would have never done that, and that's affecting you quite a bit. Now, off of that, off of the whole Elon things, we're not going to go down Elon, whatever. You can do your research on that part. The main thing about this video is, should you buy a Tesla? Okay. Now, if I was to if I was to suggest buying a Tesla, I definitely would recommend buying one used. And it's not just because anything else. It's simply because all cars are just our liabilities at the end of the day. And the second that you drive that car off the lot or drive it anywhere, it depreciates dramatically, okay? It depreciates very bad. So you definitely don't want to just buy a brand new car unless you just want to have the feeling of buying a new car and going through the phases of what that's like or whatever the case may be. Then, okay, definitely understand. I want to talk to this guy. This is the McBuddy dude. I want to talk to him, but let me go pull up on him real quick. So, you know, it doesn't matter what car you buy, whether you buy it from Kia, Hyundai, wherever. If you're buying it brand new, the car is going to depreciate. Now, if you're buying a car that might be one of one, or it's a limited edition car or something old school, like those are the cars that are going to add some value to your purchase. But if you're just straight up buying a car brand new, please make sure it's at least one that you want to have for the rest of your life. I don't mean literally the rest of your life, but just one that you actually want to keep and that you're going to enjoy. Now, I've always wanted to buy a brand new car, but I didn't know that the depreciation of those cars just dropped down dramatically. And some cars, they might do that, but they can still hold their value later. For example, I've seen this a lot with like trucks, SUVs or trucks. Jeep somewhat can hold their value, but for the most part, 9 times out of 10, your car is going to depreciate, okay? Unless you have a very limited edition vehicle. So I do not suggest buying any car brand new. I don't care who is whatever. Like, if you just want to have the experience of buying a brand new car, then definitely understand that. But that'd be the only reason I would suggest buying a brand new car. Now, that being said, with the Teslas, if you're going to decide to go used, there's a couple things that you want to look into first, all right? You want to look into what is the VIN number, first of all. You want to get that VIN number, and you want to check the battery and how good the battery is on it, all right? So that's what I did when I bought this 2021 Model Y. I made sure to check the battery to see if it was good. I wanted to check the Carfax on it to see if, it had any accidents or anything like that, how many owners and stuff like that. So there is a website, I think it's called bump.com, bump like that. I will put a link in the description where you can check that, and you can look at the VIN number to see if it's been through any accidents or anything like that. And then to check the battery, there's actually a free website that I will link you guys to. I can't think of what the name of it is right now, but I will have a link in the description box for that. And you can check the battery on how good it is, all right? So make sure you do that first, all right? Then it's negotiation time, right? So there's two ways you can buy this model or whatever Tesla you decide to buy. You can buy it directly from Tesla through their inventory, because they do sell the Teslas on, their website through used in their inventory, okay? Now, you can get some deals on there. Sometimes you can't. Obviously, you can get the tax credit on there as well. But usually, I've seen you can get a better deal if you buy it from like a third-party dealer. Same thing I did, all right? So look up locally around you to see who has Teslas for sale. And it all depends on which model you want. Personally, I have kids, so I went with the Model Y because, like I said, I have kids, and I wanted a little bit more room. Now, I did like the Model 3. I just like how it looks, but looks doesn't mean anything when you're trying to have room in your car. So you can probably get a Model 3 fairly cheap. They're not too expensive. And even a Model Y. That's why I went with the Model Y, because for a couple thousand more, you can get a bigger vehicle. All right. That being said, before you even look on into the car, I forgot to mention this part. Make sure you have charging at home. Either you get something installed or you're able to charge at home, because if you're spending all your money at a supercharger, you're just going to be throwing money away. And personally, I don't think it's worth it. But if that's what you got to do for the time being until you get either a charger installed where you want it, or something, then hey, understandable. But do not get a Tesla or any EV car if you can't charge it at home. That is my number one rule. If you can't charge at home, just leave the car alone, get something else. All right. So once you check the battery, check the VIN number for accidents, you look up locally for one that you might want to be interested in or that you want to get into. Next step is to contact the dealer, okay? And what I did was I did everything via text. I didn't talk to anybody on the phone. You can do that, but I was able to text the people what I wanted and what I'm looking for, like my monthly payments. But you don't want to tell them what you want to pay monthly. What you want to know from them is, what is their out-the-door cost? What is their out-the-door cost with everything? What is their bottom dollar that they will charge you for that car? And once you find that information out, now you know what you can do. You know whether you can negotiate on it or what's next for you. So for example, let's say they have a Model Y with 20,000 miles and it's a 2022, it's $27,000, right? If you want to get the income tax credit, you need to make sure it's at least at $24,999. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to message them back and say, hey, what's your total cost or what's your bottom dollar price you will take for that car? And let's say they say, all right, well, we'll drop it down from 27 to 25. Okay. You're going to let them know, is there any way you can get it a little bit lower than that? I have a couple that I'm looking at, and if you can't, then it's fine. I'm just going to go get this other one that I found for $24,99.99. All right. A lot of times car dealerships or salesmen don't want to lose that sale. So you should be able to potentially get them at that price that you wanted at. And if they say no, let's say they can't do it, then just move on and find the next car, because I promise you there are a ton of cars out there. And you don't need to be thirsty and settle for the first one that you find, okay? So that's one of the things I wish I would have done. I wish I would have negotiated a little bit better when it came to buying this car, because I definitely could have got a better price, or simply just waited it out a couple months. Because you see, with everything Elon's doing, these cars are selling for a little bit cheaper than what I bought this one at, okay? So that's just my game or my strategy that I would suggest for you guys if you want to get into a Tesla, because you can get them at a reasonable price. And if you are at under the $24,999, you're going to be able to take advantage of that $4,000 tax credit. All right. And that's amazing. So if you bought a car for $24,999, that means you just got that car for under $20K, and it's a 2022. Like, that's pretty damn good. All right. So insurance, I have Tesla insurance. I know some people out there are saying their insurance is pretty expensive, and everybody's is going to be different. So I don't know how to tell you what type of insurance to purchase or anything like that. But personally, I have Tesla's insurance, and mine isn't expensive at all. I think mine is about $130 a month. So not bad. I am 34, and I'm not a speed demon. I don't have all these speeding tickets and stuff like that. So I don't know if that plays a part in it or whatever the case may be, but mine is sitting at about roughly $130. It does fluctuate. It's all based on how much you drive each month. So if you're going to be driving far every day in your car, that price could change, because how Tesla prices you each month is based on how you drive. So if you're hitting the brakes a lot, if you are driving fast all the time like crazy, and just not driving at a safe rate, if you're not driving at a safe rate, then that price is going to go up. So last month, for example, my insurance was $116 for the month. This month it is at 130. So that means I was driving a little bit more. I don't use the brakes, because if you use the brakes, that will put a ding on your insurance. They look at that stuff. So if you have to hit it every now and then, it's fine. But if you're constantly just hitting the brake, that's when you get dinged pretty hard on your Tesla insurance, okay? So those are some things that I would recommend, or I would suggest you taking a look at before maybe looking at Tesla's insurance. But personally, I don't have any issues. Son. Stop. Let me see. Thank you. This thing is just crazy, dude. Here, play with your new toy. You want a toy? McBuddy, here. Here you go. There you go, keychain. Here. So, you know, that's just what I would suggest for if you wanting to get the Tesla insurance. Otherwise, look at your insurance that you may have on your current car and see if maybe they can get you a better deal with multi-vehicles or whatever the case may be. So that's my suggestion for insurance. And that's pretty much it. I don't think I'm leaving out anything. Negotiate. That's probably my number one thing that I will say. Please negotiate. Don't act like you can't get a better deal on the car, because you can. And take this from me, because I've been buying cars for my Turo business recently, and I'm a negotiator. I feel like I'm the negotiating God, because that's what you got to do when it comes to buying cars, okay? You want to negotiate, because these cars depreciate so much, and you want to try to get the best deal and the best value of your car. So make sure you're doing that. And I do have another Turo video that I'm going to drop for you guys, because we are making some great progress. And I want to give you guys a number two video update, okay? So that's all I have for you guys. Let me know, is the politics stopping you from buying a Tesla? Are you going to sell your Tesla? What are you going to do? Are you going to buy used? Are you going to buy new? I'm going to say buy used, and that's it. And no matter what car you buy used, all right? So that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you guys like this video, invite your friends and family. Don't forget, turn on that notification bell, because once we reach 10,000 subscribers, I will be giving away $200. All right, Scoofy here, and I'm out.